Is what you're seeing right now real? Or is it a dream that pushes the boundaries of your imagination? Our planet is filled with secrets beyond comprehension. Some places are so extraordinary that as you watch your screen, you'll ask yourself, is this really on Earth? Millions of years of time, crushing pressure, and the endless dance of erosion. These are masterpieces from nature's hand. Sometimes miracles created by human hands, hidden for centuries. These wonders are hidden in desolate valleys beyond civilization's reach, concealed in remote islands, in geological regions most of us have never even heard of. But today is different. Because on this journey, together we'll discover the planet's most incredible wonders. Are you ready? Because there's no turning back now. Chapter 1. Uyuni, the lake that traded places with heaven. Close your eyes. Now open them. But this time you can't tell where you are. Are your feet on the ground or in the sky? 12,000 feet above sea level. In Bolivia's outer plains, an infinite mirror stretches for 4,000 square miles. The Uyuni salt flats. During the rainy season, when a thin layer of water covers the surface, the entire universe flips upside down. The sky descends to Earth. Clouds walk beneath your feet. The boundary between Earth and heaven completely vanishes. This surface is so perfectly flat that even NASA's satellites calibrate from here. They adjust their altimeter measurements according to Uyuni. And one more secret. Beneath the salt crust lies one of Earth's largest lithium reserves. The technology of the future sleeps in the depths of this silent lake. Geology, light, and atmospheric conditions. When these three combine, they create magic you won't find anywhere else. Standing here, all sounds disappear. Only the whisper of the wind, the silent dance of light, and that unique silence of feeling small before nature's grandeur remain. This isn't a place, it's a feeling. The feeling of looking infinity in the eye. Chapter 2. Mauritius, the waterfall that doesn't exist. Now we're going to an island in the middle of the ocean. You're looking from above. You can't believe your eyes, because the ocean is collapsing, flowing toward a deep blue abyss, like a massive waterfall, an incredible dance of turquoise and navy tones. Water appears to be falling from the island's edge into the void, but come closer. Closer still. This is not a waterfall. This is one of the world's most perfect illusions. Powerful ocean currents pulling sand and silt from Mauritius's edge are deceiving your eyes. The movement of sediment creates a depth that doesn't actually exist. Mauritius is one of the only places on Earth where underwater topography creates such a flawless deception. Even knowing it's not real, believing it is impossible, this place reminds us how easily light and perspective can bend our perception of reality. Not everything you see is real. Sometimes the greatest wonders are the tricks our eyes play on us. Chapter 3: The Eye of the Sahara When the Planet Looked Back. In the middle of the Sahara Desert in western Mauritania, one of Earth's strangest, most mysterious landmarks stretches out. The Eye of the Sahara, or as some call it, Africa's Blue Eye. When viewed from space, this structure appears so clearly that astronauts use it like a map while orbiting above Africa. Near the town of Ouadane, this circular formation spanning 30 miles was formed over 500 million years ago. 500 million years? Think about that. Before humanity existed, before dinosaurs walked the earth, this eye was taking shape beneath the desert sands. Over time, wind and erosion transformed the layers into circular ridges, outer rings of hard rock, inner rings of softer quartzite. A wide debris plain spreads at its center. So how did it form? Scientists have debated for decades. Some say volcanic eruptions, others a massive meteor impact. Some even claim it's traces of the legendary city of Atlantis. Whatever the truth, the Eye of the Sahara stands as a silent witness to how time and erosion can create art on a planetary scale. And when you look at it, it's as if the planet is looking back at you. Chapter 4: The Pink Lake, Life's Color Festival. Now before your eyes is a lake, but this lake isn't blue. Pink. Pale pink during the rainy season, deep magenta under the scorching sun of the dry season, its color constantly changing, as if the lake is breathing. Where does this miraculous color come from? From microscopic algae called Dunaliella salina. These tiny organisms produce red pigment to absorb sunlight, and they struggle to survive in water 10 times saltier than the ocean. 10 times the ocean. An environment where nothing else can survive. Along the shore, local workers harvest salt by hand, their skin coated with shea butter. This centuries-old craft actively keeps alive the bond between people and land. In a place where almost nothing can live, color itself becomes a symbol of resilience. Life here says, no matter how harsh the conditions, I will still create my beauty. Chapter 5: Deadvlei, Valley Frozen in Time. Dawn breaks, red sand dunes rising, and in their midst, a white clay basin with dark shadows of trees that died 900 years ago. Deadvlei, Dead Valley. Once this place was green. A river fed the valley, but then the river changed its course, and life stopped in an instant. The extreme aridity of the Namib Desert mummified the wood. Each trunk transformed into a shadow, frozen in time. The contrast is striking. Orange dunes glowing, standing on white ground, and the deep blue sky framing everything. For photographers, this is one of the most surreal scenes on the planet. Here, silence has weight, as if time flows differently here, slower, deeper, more deadly. Chapter 6. Yellowstone, the Living Rainbow. United States. Yellowstone. Steam rises between the mountains, and beneath it, a massive ring of color glows. The Grand Prismatic Spring, America's largest hot spring, unfolding like a living rainbow, its colors painted by microscopic life forms that manage to survive in boiling water. At the center, deep blue, 160 degrees. Around it, bands of green, yellow, and red, each tone marking the survival limit of a bacterial species. But Yellowstone isn't just beauty. Beneath this calm landscape, one of Earth's largest supervolcanoes sleeps. Its last eruption reshaped continents and skies. Even today, the ground rises and falls inches each year, as if the Earth is breathing in its sleep. Isn't it strange? A place that feels so peaceful could one day change the planet again. And yet these lands became the world's first national park in 1872, created to protect life, not power. Chapter 7. The Wolf Legend, Nature's Return. Once the howl of wolves echoed across North America and Europe. Then fear silenced them. By the early 1900s, most populations were wiped out. But nature has a long memory. In 1995, gray wolves were brought back to Yellowstone after more than 70 years. And what followed was one of the most extraordinary ecological recoveries ever recorded. With the wolves' return, elk herds began moving again. Vegetation returned along the riverbanks. Beavers, birds, and fish came back. Even the shape of the rivers changed. A single predator rebalanced the entire ecosystem. Right now, in Colorado's western mountains, new wolves are being released into the wild. The program began in December 2023, aiming to restore the natural balance lost long ago. Farther east, scientists are fighting to bring back the red wolf. Their work in North Carolina is giving this critically endangered species a second chance. Researchers are exploring genetic editing and cloning to revive extinct wolf lineages, because they want to understand how lost species once shaped the planet's ecosystems. Perhaps the greatest lesson is this: nature forgives, but never forgets. Chapter 8. Rainbow Mountain, God's Brushstrokes. In the Peruvian Andes, at 16,000 feet, the earth unfolds in waves of color, red, yellow, green, and blue, spreading across the ridges like brushstrokes from another world. Rainbow Mountain. Locals call it Vinicunca. Its beauty comes from mineral layers exposed by the slow retreat of ancient glaciers. Iron paints the slopes red and mustard. Copper leaves traces of green and turquoise. Sulfur glows yellow beneath the sun. Above 16,000 feet, the air is thin. Silence feels heavy. Only the wind and footsteps break the stillness as travelers climb the winding path. This isn't a mountain. It's poetry written on nature's canvas. Chapter 9. Cano Cristales, the living rainbow river. Most rivers run blue, but this river carries every color of fire and light. Its surface glows red, yellow, green, blue, and black, flowing like liquid glass under the sun. Locals call it Cano Cristales, the river of 5 colors. For most of the year, it looks ordinary, but when the rainy season begins, a rare aquatic plant called Macarenia clavigera comes to life beneath the water. It paints the riverbed vivid red, mixing with the gold of sand, the green of moss. There are no strange lights here, no minerals, just sunlight, pure water, and a living organism turning chemistry into art. Travelers come from around the world to see it, but nothing prepares you for the moment you stand beside it and realize this rainbow is made of life itself. Chapter 10. Lake Natron, Mirror of Death. In northern Tanzania lies Lake Natron, a shallow body of water the color of rust and blood. Its surface shimmers in shades of red and pink, colored by salt-loving microorganisms thriving in water, too caustic for most life. The lake's temperature can reach 120 degrees. Its alkaline waters, rich in soda and minerals, can burn skin and eyes. But it's not lifeless. Flamingos nest along its edges, feeding on the very algae that give the water its color. But when birds or insects stray too far and fall into the lake preserves them in mineral coatings, turning fragile bodies to stone. Lake Natron is both life and death, both beauty and danger, one of nature's strangest paradoxes. Chapter 11. Pamukkale, the Fountain of Youth. For thousands of years, people followed this hillside, chasing hot streams, believing the waters could heal, renew, even grant youth. The Greeks built the city of Hierapolis here. Poets, merchants, and kings came to bathe in pools that still flow today. Empires fell, earthquakes changed the land, but the terraces kept forming, each fragile edge layered by the same mineral springs that drew the ancients. Pamukkale isn't just a place of beauty. It's a living record of faith, nature's patience, and humanity's need to be remade by water. Chapter 12. Egypt's White Desert, the snow-dusted Sahara. In Egypt's western desert, a landscape appears dusted with snow. White sands rise over an orange base, forming towers, domes, and shapes sculpted by wind and water. The whiteness comes from minerals of calcium, quartz, and limestone, once part of the seabed that covered this region millions of years ago. Over time, erosion carved the soft rock into formations that glow like frost under the sun. Among them stands Crystal Mountain, a natural arch made entirely of quartz. Its surface shimmers like glass. Even in the driest desert, Earth still knows how to shine. Chapter 13, Egypt and Eternity, the Pharaoh's Legacy. But Egypt's brilliance doesn't end with stone. Beneath the same sky, civilizations once tried to master eternity. The pharaohs didn't build just for power, they built for permanence. Tutankhamun, the boy king, died before turning 20. Yet when his tomb was discovered 3,000 years later, it was nearly untouched. Gold, ivory, and amulets still guarding his body. Scientists now know his preservation was a combination of chemistry and faith. Resin, salt, and linen working together to hold flesh against decay. It was both science and prayer, performed by hands that believed they were preparing a soul for another world. The Egyptians didn't see death as an end. To them, it was a journey. They imagined souls sailing across the night sky, guided by gods with animal heads. Ra, the god reborn each morning, Osiris, ruler of the underworld, and Anubis, who weighed the heart of the dead against a feather. If the heart was heavy with sin, it was devoured. If light, the spirit continued its voyage toward the eternal fields. What's remarkable is this. This ancient obsession with immortality created some of Earth's most enduring monuments. The pyramids may seem like relics, but they're also equations, precise alignments of stone, shadow, and starlight. Their builders measured eternity with mathematics, and perhaps that's Egypt's greatest paradox. A civilization that feared death built things more lasting than any that came after. Chapter 14, Stone Forest, the first wonder under heaven. Deep in the Uyuni Plateau lies the stone forest. At first glance, the landscape feels like a city made of stone. Tall towers rising from the ground, narrow corridors cutting through rock, and every surface carries a story. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Natural Heritage Site in 2007 and a Global Geopark in 2004. Each ridge and pillar records a different chapter in this land's history. Geologists often call it the first wonder under heaven, a conclusion based on decades of study, not just a poetic phrase. The stone forest's story begins nearly 270 million years ago. This land rested beneath a shallow sea. Over time, limestone layers settled, hardened, and were later lifted by tectonic forces into the open air. Rain, wind, and the slow dissolving of stone shaped these towers and channels, carving the landscape drop by drop, season by season. 270 million years, each drop a story, each season a work of art. Chapter 15, Giant's Causeway, the Path of Giants. On Ireland's northern coast, a secret appears too perfect to be natural. 40,000 basalt columns rise from the Atlantic, their edges locked together like a path built for giants. Legend says it was crafted by the mythical Finn McCool to cross the sea and fight his rival in Scotland. Science tells another story. When volcanic lava met cold ocean water, it cooled so rapidly that the rock cracked into hexagons with geometric precision. Today, waves crash and retreat, polishing each column smoother than any sculptor could. Nature here teaches mathematics, geometry, and perfection. Chapter 16. Tsingy, Forest of Knives. Once this was a seabed. Rain and acid slowly dissolved the stone, carving narrow canyons where sunlight rarely reaches the ground. From above, it looks like a frozen forest of knives, yet life found a way. Madagascar's most iconic primates, lemurs, leap across razor-sharp spires with astonishing grace. Their padded hands and long tails help them balance on spires no wider than a finger. Each leap is a calculation between life and injury. Species like the Deccan's sifaka have adapted almost entirely to this stone labyrinth. They feed on leaves growing in cracks, drink rainwater pooled in rock, and sleep in the safety of upper ledges where no predator can follow. For them, survival isn't about escaping danger. It's about learning to dance with it. Chapter 17. Marble Caves, the Dance of Water and Stone. Water doesn't just erode stone, it decorates it. The waves of Lake General Carrera have been sculpting marble walls for nearly 6,000 years, creating tunnels adorned with turquoise and silver. The color isn't paint, it's reflection, a mirror of sky filtered through glacial water. So pure it bends light itself. When boats drift inside, the sound of water against stone echoes like distant music. These formations are still changing, grain by grain. Each ripple, each reflection, proof that art can happen without an artist. Chapter 18. Moeraki Boulders, Earth's Pearls. On New Zealand's South Island coast, dozens of stone spheres rest quietly on the sand. They look man-made, but each grew naturally beneath the seabed over millions of years, minerals gathered around a single point. Perhaps a shell, a leaf, or a bone. Layer by layer until the rock sealed it inside. Erosion then revealed them, smooth and round, scattered like giant pearls washed ashore. People come here at dawn, watching as the tide retreats and light fills the hollows between them. One of nature's lessons in patience. Everything is possible with time. Chapter 19. Antelope Canyon, Cathedral of Light. In northern Arizona, storms turn desert into sculpture. When flash floods tore through sandstone, water carved sinuous corridors that twist and fold like flowing silk. Each curve holds the memory of a storm, written in layers of red and gold. Light drops from above in narrow beams, drifting with dust, painting the canyon in motion. Photographers wait for hours, for that single moment when light strikes perfectly. What they capture lasts a second, but preparing the stage took millions of years. This isn't a canyon, it's nature's cathedral, the Temple of Light. Chapter 20. Meteora, Faith Suspended in Air. In the heart of northern Greece, sandstone pillars rise like Earth's fingers, reaching toward the sky. For centuries, they stood untouched, until a small brotherhood of monks looked up and saw a sanctuary waiting to be built. They came in the 14th century, fleeing wars and chaos sweeping the plains. No roads, no stairs. They climbed the cliffs by hand and rope, stone by stone, basket by basket. They built monasteries on summits where only clouds could rest. The name Meteora means suspended in air, and it fits perfectly. Even now, 6 of the original 24 remain active, floating between heaven and earth. Their bells echo through the valley, a rhythm of devotion that has never stopped. Visitors walk where monks once hauled supplies by pulley, feeling the same wind that shaped this faith in stone. Inside, frescoes glow in dim light. The scent of wax and incense lingers in the air. Each wall tells a story of endurance, not luxury. At sunset, the cliffs turn gold, and the monasteries seem to drift. For a moment, it's easy to believe that faith alone can hold a mountain in the sky. Chapter 21, Xuankongxi, the Hanging Temple. Half a continent away in China's mountains, another vision of devotion took shape. Clinging to the sheer face of Mount Heng, the Hanging Temple defies gravity with quiet grace. Built more than 1,500 years ago, resting on wooden beams wedged into the cliff, a structure that appears to float between heaven and earth. Inside, statues of Buddha, Laozi, and Confucius share the same space. 3 great teachings under one roof, balanced on air and faith. For centuries, this temple has withstood earthquakes and storms, its foundations trembling but unbroken. Faith here says, "I am stronger than gravity." Chapter 22, Sigiriya, the Lion Rock Fortress. From within the jungle, a single block of stone rises nearly 600 feet. From a distance, it looks like a natural wonder. Up close, you see the work of a man who wanted to become a god. This is Sigiriya, the Lion Rock Fortress. 1,500 years ago, King Kashyapa built his palace on this summit after seizing the throne from his father. Haunted by guilt and fear, he turned the rock into a fortress of isolation, surrounding himself with walls, moats, and mirror-like frescoes of celestial maidens. What remains is both beautiful and unsettling, a monument to paranoia carved to perfection. The king who built it was eventually defeated, but his citadel still watches over the forest, silent as a confession no one ever heard. Chapter 23, Drina River House, Silent Resilience. As the Drina River winds through western Serbia, a small wooden house stands alone on a rock in the current. It began as a place of play, built by a group of friends who wanted somewhere to rest after swimming. They brought the first boards by boat, nailed them together, and never expected it to last. But the house refused to disappear. Storms tore it down again and again. Each time, someone rebuilt it. For 50 years, it has stood against the river's rage, fragile, absurd, and unshakable. In a world obsessed with power, this tiny house reminds us that resilience can be quiet. You don't have to be big. You just have to never give up. Chapter 24, Madonna della Corona, Prayer Suspended in Air. In the cliffs of northern Italy, a church clings to stone like a prayer that refused to fall. Built into the sheer wall of Monte Baldo, the sanctuary of Madonna della Corona appears suspended in air. Between faith and gravity, pilgrims have been climbing here since the 16th century, following a narrow path carved into the mountain. Inside, the air is cool and still. Candles flicker against rock that has held the same silence for centuries. This is a place for those who don't come to ask for miracles, just to remember, faith can anchor us even when the ground gives way. Chapter 25, Neuschwanstein, Dream Turned to Stone. In the Bavarian Alps, fantasy became stone. Neuschwanstein Castle rises above the forest like a vision from a dream. Turrets, towers, and clouds reflected in its white walls. It was never built for war or power. King Ludwig II designed it as a private retreat, inspired by Wagner's operas and legends of medieval knights. He spent his fortune building a castle meant not to protect his kingdom, but to preserve his imagination. Ludwig died before it was finished. The castle opened to the public just weeks later. What he built in solitude became one of the most visited places on Earth. Perhaps the greatest palaces are built not from bricks, but from dreams. Chapter 26, Koh Panyee, the Floating Village. In southern Thailand, there's a village that floats. Koh Panyee rests entirely on wooden stilts, anchored in shallow turquoise water and ringed by limestone cliffs. It was founded over 200 years ago by Muslim fishermen who weren't allowed to own land, so they built their homes on the sea. Schools, mosques, markets, even a floating soccer field. All held up by tide and determination. When storms come, the whole village sways, but never breaks. Koh Panyee doesn't conquer nature, it learns to move with it. Harmony here is more valuable than power. Chapter 27, Landwasser Viaduct, Engineering and Nature's Dance. In the Swiss Alps, engineering and landscape meet in perfect balance. The Landwasser Viaduct curves out of a mountainside and vanishes into a tunnel carved through solid rock. Trains glide across its 6 stone arches as if suspended in midair. Built in the early 20th century, shaped without modern machines, a feat of precision guided by human hands and simple geometry. Even today, it feels like part of the valley, rather than a structure imposed upon it. The best engineering is that which becomes invisible. Chapter 28, Darvaza, the door to hell. In the Turkmenistan desert, a circle of fire burns without pause. Locals call it the door to hell, a pit that has glowed for more than 50 years. It began as an accident. In the early 1970s, a team of Soviet geologists struck a pocket of natural gas. The ground collapsed, forming a crater nearly 200 feet wide. To prevent toxic fumes from spreading, they set it on fire, expecting it to burn out within days. But the fire never stopped. Wind feeds the flames, and the earth keeps exhaling fuel from below. At night, the desert glows red like the breath of a sleeping giant. We watch the fire and realize this is what happens when curiosity outruns control. Chapter 29, Atacama, Window to the Universe. From the fire below, we lift our eyes to one of Earth's driest places. In northern Chile, the Atacama Desert stretches for hundreds of miles without rain. Some valleys haven't seen a single drop of water in centuries. A place where nothing grows, yet everything becomes clear. The air is so thin, the sky so pure, that starlight falls without distortion. Astronomers call this the best window to the universe, a natural observatory carved by silence. At night, we see more stars than we can name. Light that left its source before humans walked the earth now reaches our eyes. In this emptiness, we sense connection between dust, time, and life. Perhaps to see truth, we must first lose everything. Chapter 30, Waitomo, Living Stars. As we drift in silence, the ceiling begins to glow. Thousands of glowworms hang from the stone, each no larger than a grain of rice. Together they form constellations of living light, a galaxy built on hunger and instinct. They glow to attract insects, but in doing so they create something far greater than survival: beauty. The deeper we go, the quieter it becomes. Only the sound of water remains, echoing like Earth's pulse. For a moment, it feels as though we've fallen through the planet and emerged beneath another sky. We've seen the fire of man, the stars of the universe, and now the smallest lights of life. And somehow, this is where wonder feels closest. Chapter 31, Sequoia, Forest of Unity. We step into a forest where time moves slower than thought. Giants rise around us, trunks as wide as houses, crowns hidden in mist. They've stood here for thousands of years. Some began growing before the fall of Rome. This is Sequoia National Park, established in September 1890, the second national park in the United States, and the first created to protect a living organism. More than 8,000 sequoias grow in the giant forest, including the General Sherman tree, the largest living tree on Earth. What makes them endure isn't their height, it's their bond. Their roots reach only a few feet deep, spreading wide and intertwining with one another. Together they form a network that keeps them standing through wind, fire, and snow. It's strange to think that the tallest trees survive not by standing alone, but by holding on to each other. Perhaps the greatest strength lies in unity. Chapter 32, Dead Sea, the lowest point on Earth. Israel, Jordan. Here the air feels heavier, the light sharper. Before us lies the lowest point on Earth's surface, 1,400 feet below sea level. Its water is nearly 10 times saltier than the ocean, so dense that nothing can sink, and almost nothing can live. For centuries, travelers came here seeking healing, believing the minerals could restore what time had taken. But the truth is more fragile. The Dead Sea is shrinking every year. As rivers are diverted and heat pulls water skyward, the shoreline retreats. In less than 50 years, it has lost a third of its surface, yet it still glows like liquid glass under the sun. Salt crystals bloom along its edges, forming patterns that shift with every wave. It's dying, yet endlessly remaking itself. We lean back and the water holds us without effort. No need to swim, no need to fight. Here, gravity feels optional. So tell me, if a sea that cannot support life can still carry us so gently, what does that say about the world that made it? Maybe this isn't an ending after all. Maybe this is Earth learning how to rest. Closing, the infinite journey. We've crossed deserts that glow like mirrors, climbed temples that cling to cliffs, and drifted through rivers painted by life itself. We've seen mountains of fire, forests of stone, and oceans that never sleep. Everywhere we went, one truth remained. Earth is not still. It moves, breathes, remembers. The colors, the storms, the silence. They're not there to be understood, only to be witnessed. Because every wonder we found was never just about the planet. It was about us, about our perspective, the way we build, our hope to endure a little longer than the wind. So when the journey ends, don't look for closure. Listen, Earth is still speaking, and somewhere, another wonder has already begun.